He shot that white boy. What are you going to do now, boy? Hit a non-commissioned officer.
Well, CJ just lost his head.
Shut up! Get him out of here. They're talking about giving you 5 years. They call what you did mutiny, boy.
That gun ain't mine.
We know that, CJ. We changed the charge on you this morning. You in here for striking a superior officer, boy. And everybody's seen it, too.
Why are you doing this to me, sir?
Oh, don't feel too bad, CJ. Has to be this way. You see, the first war didn't change nothing for the Negro. But this one, gonna change everything. Them Nazis ain't all crazy. Whole lot of people just can't seem to fit into where things seem to be going. Like you, CJ. See, the black race can't afford you no more. Oh, there used to be a time we'd see somebody like you singing, clowning, yassa bossing, and we wouldn't do anything. Folks like that. You were good. Homie kind of nigga. When they needed somebody to mistreat, call a name or two, they paraded you. Reminded them of the good old days. Not no more. The day of the Geechee is gone, boy. And you going with it. We can't let nobody go on believing we all fools like you. Waited a long time for you, boy. But I got you. I put 2 Geechees in jail in Camp Campbell, Kentucky. 3 in Fort Huachuca. Now I got you. One less fool for the race to be ashamed of.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Long time no see. It has been a minute. It's been a while. Been busy. Well, I mean, I'll tell you all in a bit, but let's see. Mic check. Coming in good in the chat with everybody. My man Truism is in the building. Shout out to the Stormcrow. We're going to get into it. Shout out to you, sir. Deacon Dave, good to see you as well. Great streamer last night. Shout out to Truism on a great stream. But yeah, it's been a while. I haven't streamed since what? Earlier part of this year. And main reason is because a lot going on at work, major projects, especially in the AI department. We're working on that. Also been busy with schooling. You know, when you have the CIO of the organization sponsoring your education, hey, might as well take advantage of it. So, been busy with that, and also a few side projects outside of work here and there. Which, by the way, just to let you all know, there will be a stream coming down the pipe, hopefully sometime next year, where it's going to be titled Capitalism is Your Reparations. I'll let your imagination run wild with that, but just know that particular stream is when I'll be back in business. And so definitely definitely gonna be looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I won't be streaming too much here and there, still tied up with school and everything else going on. And even with the Black Ronas, we're doing some business behind the scenes, some restructuring and whatnot. But yeah, that's definitely gonna be happening. Definitely gonna be happening. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So already Truism was the first one to appear. So you already know you already know I gotta play this particular intro for him.
What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Yep, shout out to H Rhythm, the Storm Crow. Also, shout out to Clue, Dick and Dave. I know Clue, I gotta work on a little intro for you. I think I already know which one you like. Yeah. Good times, good times. Yep, I knew it. I knew it. I have to think of something for your special intro Clue. Something that kind of ties in with that, but a little bit extended. So I'll be working on that too. Shout out to Rael. Good to see you as well, good sir. Right on, right on. Okay, so I know there's going to be some more folks that's going to come in later on, and a few that's going to watch the replay and whatnot. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, as I stated earlier, mainly been busy with a lot of work, schooling, and some projects, both in work and outside of work. And so, um, yeah, cool. Okay. You know what, Clue? I think I might have something in mind, but we'll talk behind the screens about that. So, anywho, like I said, been busy with a lot of schooling, work, and projects here and there. But every now and then, you'll probably see me in a few of the streams here and there, especially amongst the gulag, because you know, they're one of my favorite people that I've recently found, and I enjoy every single one of them. But yeah, there've been some interesting events happening behind the scenes, or not behind the scenes, but on the scenes lately that I decided, you know what? Let me get my few takes on it. Uh, oh boy. Oh boy, the coon himself is here. So you know what that means. Where is it at? Here we go. SKC. If you got time, good sir, I might open up the panel later on tonight because I think you might want to jump in on this discussion too. But in any case, back to what I was saying. There's been some interesting things that's been happening lately in the community and even outside of the community that just wanted to give my opinions and all. And so Let's start off with a video clip from the founder of SYSBM, none other than Mad Bus Driver X. He just dropped a video earlier today that really is the inspiration for why I'm doing this stream tonight. And so I just want to give my opinion, but I also want to share his video so you can see what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And so throughout the video, I'm going to be pausing it, giving my opinions and everything, but this is going to be the bedrock. So I know Mad Bus Driver won't mind using his content, but let's get the fair use put up. Let's make this a theater type of screen. And all right. Let's make this even bigger. There we go. Okay. Let's get right into it.
Mad Bus Driver here, brothers, and the ladies, and the haters that are most definitely watching. Yeah. You know, I know a lot of people want me to respond to every supposed major event that goes on in the world, to where people may try to tie it to SYSBM and Passport Bro movement as a whole, but there's no need to. You know, what I do is I like to take my time and let things play out, things marinate out. So, of course, you know, you got your Jonathan Majors ordeal. And so because his girlfriend happens to be a white female, this is all flies in the face of SYSBM. This proves that your guys' ideology is not a logical ideology.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a bit. So, for those who don't know what Master Shishio is talking about, or Master Shisho, my bad, there was an incident that happened probably right around the summer of this year of a guy by the name of Jonathan Majors. Those who don't know, Jonathan Majors is an up-and-coming actor who starred in a few Marvel movies and I guess from what I've been told, a few black movies here and there. But yeah, supposedly he got in an altercation with his now ex-girlfriend, who happens to be a white British woman. And so they recently went through litigation because he was charged with assault. Not the S assault, but just regular assault. And some interesting takes have come out of this particular case. Now, kind of being a fly on the wall, I've watched a bit of streams from other people who were very deep into the case. And they talk a whole lot about how this is another lynching for black men. Black men are not safe even if they venture out into other cultures and yada this and yada that. So, me being a researcher and also somebody who likes to delve into the analytics of things, I looked deeper into the case and there was some interesting revelation that came up that I did not see anybody talk about this. So, what if I was to tell you that his ex-girlfriend released an audio clip of him having an argument with um his girlfriend, and he talks about his ex-girlfriend needing to be more like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. Don't believe me? Well, why not you listen to the audio yourself? We're not going to play the clip because it is by TMZ, but we will play the audio. So that way you can hear the conversation yourself and take it for yourself. Fair use. But here's the audio clip that was released in court of Jonathan Majors arguing with his ex-girlfriend about being like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. Take a listen for yourself.
I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is gonna be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, do you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just lay it out for you, right? If I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? And I'm gonna say I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately. Last night, 2 nights ago, you did not do that. You did not do that.
I'm sorry.
Which took away from the plan. And the plan is everything. If it was just you in the house drunk, maybe I could have swallowed it. Or I would have felt bold enough like, oh, babe, let's just go to bed. Which I said, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not hungry, blah, blah, blah. Because Grace isn't here. Why? She was drunk. Why else? She was.
So that's the audio clip. And I'll even post the link in the chat so you all can go hear it for yourself. And General Washington, he said it. Sounds like he got caught up in the image of the community. Exactly. Now, we don't know the whole story, at least from what we hear from this audio. And before I continue, shout out to JJ. Good sir, I'm so sorry that I missed your stream on last night. I was brought up in another stream, but good sir, awesome stream you did the other night. And definitely I got to play your intro.
I'm not going there, Dottie. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive.
So shout out to my boy JJ. Good to see you, good sir. But yeah. So that audio clip you just heard was Jonathan Majors arguing with his now ex-girlfriend and just taking bits and pieces from that conversation. I guess she must have got drunk while they were out and everything, and he had a problem with that. And he went on to talk about how, he's a great man and whoever is his woman, she got to be great just like him. And he goes on to tell her, you know, you got to be more like Coretta Scott King, the husband, oh, excuse me, the wife, the wife of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You got to be more like Michelle Obama, the wife of 44th President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama. Now, when I hear that, already some red flags immediately went up. Now, could anybody tell me what is the red flag that went up when he made that statement? I'll let you guys answer in the chat. Boom. Truism has it right there. That's the problem. He used, just to be politically correct here, he used two daggles as examples for his ex-girlfriend to be, which makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever. Pretty much just what General Washington said. He wanted her to act like something that she's not. And that goes completely against SYSBM. We do not go to other cultures and then try to have the women of those other cultures act like the women that supposedly we are trying to run away from. So the mere fact that this dude, Jonathan Majors, sits up here and tried to make or force his girlfriend to be another ethnicity in another culture of women, I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for that. And you could talk about in regards that he was railroaded in his position. He, so to speak, got blindsided or whatnot. You can make all of those assessments. All I'm saying is this. He messed up when he tried to make a white woman be a black woman. Or just make a non-black woman be a black woman. That is a recipe for disaster, and that will surely put you into failure. So to be quite honest, I don't feel sorry for Jonathan Majors. And yes, you can go and say that. I don't feel sorry for Jonathan Majors. He wanted to portray himself as part of the community. Here's what happens. Here's what happens. And it goes right in line with what MBDX is talking about. So let's go back to Mad Bus Driver so he can continue talking more about what his video today was about.
I guess it's not a logical theory. It's not a logical lifestyle because, you know, one Hollywood actor has got his career stagnated or obliterated because he got an incident with a female who is white. And so therefore she's a white female and he got in an incident with her because, you know, she did what Western women like to do, put their hands on their man, and he defended himself and he got supposedly railroaded in court, even though they had video. So they found him guilty because he overly defended himself, as big as he is and as small as she is. So therefore, you brothers need to stay away from these white women. They're so bad. You know, Emmett Till. Keep it 100, keep it black. This is the childish thinking that these men have over and over again. It always happened so many, every other year. Every other year, something happens to a black guy, and if it happens to be a white female, is tied to she outs him because he was in her DMs, or again, Jonathan Major thing. That must mean that the sheer number of these brothers that are out here in relationship with something from another culture other than an African American female, that must mean that these men, their relationships are going to go downhill too. And it's highly likely any of you brothers get into a relationship with a female, especially if she's white, you're going to get Jonathan Majors, because white supremacy still exists and dominates. These are the childish arguments. It's the same shit. When they keep harping on Jonathan Majors, you know what I think? I think of O.J. Simpson. Remember O.J.? Remember the trial of the century? Remember all that drama and all the shit that people say in the comedy shows and magazines? O.J. hasn't been white. Da 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 da. Mess with them white girls. See what happened? O.J. Kobe. How many decades ago was that?
Yeah. Speaking of OJ, I, OJ, when they asked OJ, I forgot when they asked him this. This was when he either was still playing in the NFL or when he was starting his somewhat movie acting career. But they asked OJ, do you consider yourself black? And he responded, I'm not black. I'm OJ. Now, he may have said the right thing, but OJ certainly was not living the right thing. What do I mean by that is this. OJ, yes, he may not see himself as black, but OJ was still trying to hold on to black. Because think about it. When the incident happened, when he got in trouble with the law and whatnot, all of a sudden he wanted to portray himself as still being black, which tells me he never left black all along. Sure, he dated out, but he never left it black. And even now, you look at him per se, he still holds on to black. He still tries to ingratiate himself in the community whenever he gets a chance. And when you do something like that, you're not really SYSBM. See, this is my take when I think of SYSBM. Really, when you think of SYSBM, it's not about the B part. Save yourself, black man. Really, it's about SYSM. Save yourself, man. Because unfortunately, when you start thinking of black and you try to do SYSBM, you're still holding on to a culture that you're trying to get away from, or supposedly you're trying to get away from. So when you do that, what's going on, MLT? When you do that, it's talk about in the tenets. It's all in the tenets. You don't leave to go to another culture and try to bring your way of thinking and your way of experience into other people's culture. That is not what SYSBM is about. And unfortunately, you got some dudes who have gone out of their way to try and make sure that they keep associated with those type of people from the community. Don't believe me? Let Mad Bus Driver tell you more himself.
I think because it's a major event that it's going to stop brothers from going out on a hunt for them bunnies, them snow bunnies, I guess. They're going to think, because some star has some drama with a white female, that's going to scare off the white ladies from getting with the brothers. They somehow think this over and over and over again, because what some of them want you to do is they want you to admit that your SYSBM is not as cracked up as we reported to be. This is what they want you to admit. So even if you were to admit that, they still would not be happy. Because these guys are never happy. Because their mama was never happy. And so their mama raised them to be like Umar Johnson. Their mama raised them to be like these dudes on the internet complaining, and they think they're so smart. They think they're so smart because they cater to a community of women who are so self-conscious and have so low of self-esteem of themselves that they have to uplift them by always pointing out that white bitch over there. These women are so independent and so unbothered that they're so bothered that they need to go fly out to a whole nother country and try to ruin the happiness of men in Thailand, black men in Thailand, to try to ruin the happiness of black men in the Philippines, to try to ruin the happiness of black men going to Brazil. These are the same people that these dudes on the line and these women online are catering to. You wonder why it doesn't make sense, because these people, were probably not, going hard in the paint. I don't know, I guess SYSBM or Passport Bros, when whole Will Smith drama has been popping off, right? I mean, Will Smith's 100 times of Jonathan Majors, and his fall was spectacular due to his wife, who happens to be a BW. And guess what? His scenario of how his life was sabotaged happens exponentially more to black men than a Jonathan Majors scenario. For every one Jonathan Majors, I would front you that there's 1,000 Jada Pinkins, if not more. So much so that these women are flying to other countries so they can sabotage your community. That's exactly what they're going to do. I'm going to tell you how they're going to do it. If you have...
So right here, this is something that we have already predicted, and it's already come to fruition. This is one of the reasons why, as much as I was in agreement with some of the things that was going on with the Passport Bros, overall, I couldn't support them. And the main reason I couldn't support the Passport Bros is because of several things. But one of the few things was, one, they kept advertising and kept trying to make it their mission to advertise to their enemies that hey, we're going overseas, and we're we're gonna be overseas doing our own things, yada yada yada, and we're just gonna leave y'all to yourselves. You get the drift. And then secondly, even when they were doing that, even when they were supposedly going overseas and, so to speak, getting away from the community and all, the places that they went to, just to be honest, was no different than the places that they supposedly left behind. Yeah, Clue. That's pretty much it. They don't even realize it, but just by those antics that they're doing and behaviors that they're bringing overseas, they don't realize they are still stuck on black. And MBD goes further into details about it. Check this out.
Haven't put the dots together. I'm gonna tell you how they're going to destroy your community. How they're gonna try to take your shit out over there in Thailand, because they already started. You see, the problem that you guys having is you're advertising heavy about how much fun you're having out there in Thailand and how much businesses you're setting up. All of that. You're setting up Black Wall Street in Thailand, and you know they cannot have that. Because if you set up Black Wall Street in another country, then the question becomes, what's stopping you from doing that in these United States of America? White supremacy? No. It's not white supremacy. You will put two and two together and you will say, how are they able to set up Black Wall Street in the Philippines and not in these United States of America? What's holding them back? White supremacy? No, it's not white supremacy. You would put two and two together and you wonder, how are they establishing communities, Black Wall Street in Brazil? But they can't do that in Southside Chicago. What's holding them back from building in Detroit? White supremacy? No. It's your mama. So how are they going to destroy these or try to destroy these brothers' communities overseas? Well, step one, since you guys advertise where you guys are at, they know where to go. You know they're not going to Bangkok like that.
Boom, right there. The first rule when it comes down to being your own man and being about your business, you move in silence. You see, this is what they don't want to tell you, but it's the truth. Advertising like that and trying to showboat, trying to show your enemies, so to speak, that, hey, I'm doing this overseas and I don't have to deal with you, yada yada yada. What they don't tell you is when you do stuff like that, that's actually a female move. That's a female move. To be advertising to your enemies what you're doing overseas, where you're going overseas, and whom you are associated with. Not realizing that your enemies, they also got connections too. Want to know how? Listen to MPD.
Why? Because apparently there's not a heavy African-American male presence in Bangkok that's advertising their whereabouts. So they go to this place called Phuket, if I'm pronouncing the name right? Because apparently there's several shops and barbershops and restaurants owned by black men who, went out there previously, years before, established their own businesses, got married to the locals and starting families. And so more brothers are showing up. And then there's one that's really, really famous on the internet, and we all know who it is, packing up this stuff and going all overseas, broadcasting it back to the States. So they know where to go. They go to this community, this town, this beach town, beach city, whatever it is. and they go look for the hot spots, the places where the black men are at, and they go find somebody there that they can talk to, somebody that would have a discussion with them. Throw on a tight shirt or whatever, a tight dress or whatever it is, hang out over at the clubs, at the bars, and see if they can catch one of you guys' eyes, say, oh, you ain't talking to no sisters over here? Why would they be going over there to talk to any sisters? It's question one.
Right there. Exactly how MBD said it. See, and this is even before I got part of SYSBM and started following Mad Bus Driver and Shinobi Bro, Kitty Got Kade Jones and whatnot. But even when I was traveling, especially once I became 18 and was able to travel to other states, instinctively, I've made it my business that wherever there is a congregation of black folks, whatever area in the city or whatever area in the country that had a large infrastructure of black people, I avoid. Now you probably ask yourself, Sigma, why you avoid those places? You mean to tell me you don't see yourself as black? Exactly. I am an American man first who just so happened to be black or just so happened to look black. But I am not going out of my way when I go to these cities or countries where I gotta find out where all the brothers are hanging out, or I gotta find out where all the sisters are hanging out. No. And later on, I'm gonna show you some videos of some individual who bring that mindset overseas, and it got them in trouble. But like MBD said, now sure, you think, okay, if I set up, a business over here and try to, attract other like-minded brothers and whatnot, this would be great. We could start our own business, whatnot. That all sounds great on paper. It sounds marvelous. But in practice, it is doomed to fail. And the reason why it's doomed to fail, because there's always that one black man who just needs to bring the sisters, who just need to bring the daggles. Don't take my word for it. Listen to MBD.
But that's how they're going to do it. They're going to find somebody that's still going to have that shine on their forehead. They're still going to feel like they need to have explain themselves, explain why brothers are doing what they are doing. Befriend that person. That person is going to show them the hangout spots, where to go, who to talk to, how to survive. They're going to show them the ropes. When they show these women the ropes, these women, if they cannot get a man out over there in Thailand, a black man over there in Thailand, what they're going to do is they're going to import themselves a man.
Okay. Now, I know MBD was trying to show, images of brothers with something different and everything. I'm all cool with that. I'm definitely all cool with that. But this image right here, you just see, let me rewind it back so you can see this.
These women the ropes. These women, if they cannot get a man out over there in Thailand, a black man over there in Thailand, what they're going to do.
This right here. Yeah, truism. She's nice and all. Yeah, she's nice. But there's a problem with this image. There is a problem with this particular image. Can you guys figure it out? I'll show you again.
Survive. They're going to show them the ropes. When they show these women the ropes, these women, if they cannot get a man out over there in Thailand, a black man over there in Thailand, what they're going to do.
Boom. JJ said it right there. That's just a Keisha who happens to be tired. Yeah, Clue. That's what it is. and that's the whole point that, unfortunately, I just can't be in agreement. I don't care if you are white, Asian, Hispanic, Indian, Samoan. It doesn't matter. If you are twerking, or the first image I see of you is you showing off your rear end, that's a no. That's a no for me. And unfortunately, this is what is happening with these passport bros. When they're traveling overseas, they bring the same mentality that they claim they are leaving behind. They're bringing it overseas. And now you got women of other cultures doing the exact same thing that they claim that they did not want. Yeah, XAC. Same with my girl. I do not let my girl hang out with any known black person or woman that thinks in that regard. I just don't. And this is exactly what MBD is talking about. You travel to these other cultures, and rather than ingratiating yourself in these cultures, rather than learning of these other cultures, what's going on, Kamasi? Learning of these other cultures and, trying to be better, you're still bringing in the dysfunctional culture to these other places. And now you're hearing stories of guys who are having problems with the women of other cultures. And now they're talking about, well, all women are the same, and all women do this and that, and no matter where you go and travel, you still got to deal with these hard luck women. It's like, no, dude, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. If you're telling me that no matter where you go, you're always finding women twerking, that tells me you have a propensity of wanting women who twerk. If you're telling me that no matter what woman you date or women you find in other cultures, that the women all have the same type of mentality, sir, that's a you problem. That is a you problem. But let's continue.
Is they're going to import themselves a man. Because while you're over there showing them the ropes, you're going to show them how to sustain themselves, to make money overseas. You're going to tell them all little secrets. I own some real estate here. I invest in crypto. I do this. I do that. And they can start emulating what you do so they can set up shop just like you over there. And now, instead of it being a black male community, a Malaysian community that black men have started, it becomes a black community. And once it becomes a black community, these women are going to be really comfortable to start to show their ass, just like they show their ass here in the States. They already have done it. They've been in people's houses, in a foreign country, talking about the foreign people like they ain't shit. Telling you what they is and what they ain't going to do, what they is and they ain't going to cook, how they is and they ain't going to live, how you going to have to bend to their will, sit next to their own husband in a foreign land talking cash shit. This is what they're going to do. They're going to get real comfortable. Then they're going to start showing their ass. Then they're going to start putting their hands on the locals. Like the ladies that done did down in Bali. They're going to start putting their hands on the locals. They're going to start twerking. They're going to start be doing things in an appropriate. What they're going to do is they're going to niggify your community. It will no longer be a black expat of males that have went out and established their own shit and built Black Wall Street. No, they're going to show up to niggify your community. That's exactly what they're going to do.
And it's happening. It's happening right now as we speak. I got a story right now to talk about from Japan that exemplifies exactly what MBD is talking about. And I don't feel sorry for these guys. I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever because you sit up here and allowed yourself to still hang on to the dysfunctional culture and thinking you could just bring it overseas. And I'll put it like this: you can't leave mama no matter how far you go. That's the mentality that they have. And so now these infrastructures that they had set up overseas, these areas that they thought would be safe for black men to finally become men of culture and be able to be seen as men and not, as a black man, it's all going down the drain. Why? Because they can't leave black alone. JJ, you already getting ahead of schedule, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. And we really going to talk about this because it needs to be said. It needs to be said. Because see, you got people that are talking about, SYSBM and, oh, you better be careful when you date out because they're going to get you and everything. Yet 99% of the time when you read about these cases, it's all because somebody could not leave the dysfunction of black alone. Shout out to my boy Free Zone. Man, I gotta get your intro as well. Where we got?
Are you aware of the proper method that one should use to eliminate weeds? You see, weeds, when left unchecked, will rob the flower of its proper nutrients. So what do? If you uproot the weed, then you disturb the flower. Its roots and soil don't like to be interfered with.
So, what do you do?
You learn to plant flowers that utilize the weeds as a form of nourishment. Take a look. This flower is an example of a beautiful exterior masking its true intentions. Intentions that are really quite brutal.
Shout out to Free Zone. But yeah, SKC said it best. Leaving dysfunctional culture behind. So yeah, let's continue.
Do. And once they niggify your community, you're all painted under the same brush. You all become, we don't want to hang around them. And you got to remember now, this is not going to be the United States of America. This is not going to be Europe. They don't have no history over there of enslaving your ass. So they don't have no problems with saying your type of people are not welcome in these parts of the world.
And it's happening. It's happening as we speak. You are literally seeing business owners and communities overseas that are putting up signs saying no blacks allowed or no Negroes, no you fill in the blank. And again, they got nobody to blame but themselves. Salute, Ace. Good to see you, sir. But yeah, they got nobody to blame but themselves. You bring the dysfunction with you, and now you're trying to escape Jim Crow, but Jim Crow is popping up everywhere you go. You should ask yourself, why is that? Why is it that no matter where I go, Jim Crow is soon to follow? May have something to deal with the lifestyle that you're portraying. May also have something to deal with the people you associate with. Doesn't that ring a bell? But let's continue.
And that's what they're counting on. So that everybody gets thrown out. Not just them, but also you. Because all they need is for somebody to feel sorry for them and want to show them wrong. Because if they look good to you, and you think they're fine from the old classical sense, because other people are looking at them like, this broad isn't fine. How'd you thought she was looking good? Oh, because in the nightclub she was wearing a tight dress, so them titties were popping, that ass was big like that. If you mix the tie with the with the black chicks, yeah, no, what the fuck is the thinking? What is the thinking? So once they niggify your community, you're all done. That is the plan. That is the strategy. They're going to show up at places where they're not wanted, and they're going to flop around like a fish, complaining that you guys don't want to be with them. They're going to get on the internet and they're going to report to shame you, to say that you guys over there in Japan ain't checking for them. Did you guys over here in Taiwan ain't checking for them? Did you guys over here in Korea?
And again, like MBD says, why in the heck would you travel overseas to another country and be checking for Keisha? Be looking for Mama Keisha. This is what's happening to the passport bros overseas and the black men that think along those lines. And all of a sudden now you're hearing horror stories. I just heard of somebody who got murdered in some country overseas, and he got murdered because he was set up by a woman. That's what they think about you now. When you're advertising on YouTube or Rumble or whatever these live streams they got going on top about, yeah, man, I'm going to Medellin. Yeah, man, I'm going to Brazil. Yeah, man, I'm going to Thailand. You do realize that everybody else can see those videos, and now you're a marked man. You're a marked man, and anybody who's associated with you, they're also marked too. But it is hard to tell people that because, they're free. We's free, master. We's free. We can do whatever we want. We can go travel, do our own thing, especially because we got this blue book, and this blue book gives us access to all the places around the world. We can do whatever we want. Let's continue.
Yeah, and checking for them. You guys over here in Thailand ain't checking for them. You guys over there in Brazil ain't checking for them. What's wrong with you, black men? You cooning, you buck dancing, you samboing. What's wrong with you? And there's going to be always a weak link that's going to want to have to explain themselves to them. Being nice. Your niceness to them is seen as weakness.
MBD, let me rewind that again so everybody in the back can hear that.
They have to explain themselves to them. Being nice. Your niceness to them is seen as weakness. They have to explain themselves to them. Being nice. Your niceness to them is seen as weakness.
Your niceness to them is seen as weakness. So the next time you hear one of these dudes on these live streams talk about, well, let her talk. I just want to go onto their panels and talk and everything so they can hear my side of the story. oh, I gotta defend what we're doing and whatnot because they're talking about us. I just gotta talk to them. Your niceness is seen as your weakness in their eyes. Just want to make sure I say that again. In the eyes of your enemies, your niceness is your weakness. And all it takes is one person, in this case, one black male, to ruin it for everybody. That's one of the reasons I played the clip from A Soldier Story, because the day of the Geechee is really gone. There comes a point in time where you can't serve two masters. You either be ingratiated in major society and become a civilized citizen like everybody else, or you just become a lowlife of society. Not many people want to hear that, but it needs to be said. SKC, I'll comment since I can't come on later, but the way I see it, this was inevitable. But those who operate in a higher culture don't have to worry. BWs and Nibbas despise high culture. Yeah. If you change your interests, you hardly find yourself in areas where those people are even across seas. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. So when you still try to hang on to that dysfunction, you can't get mad if other countries and other cultures like, we don't want you here. Heck, I'm not mad if I travel somewhere over to Japan and some restaurant that I heard of, before I could even walk by, the owner's like, sorry, no blacks, no Americans. I definitely get it. I understand it. Even though it's not of my doing, but I understand that that individual, that store owner, that business owner had a bad run-in with people who happen to look like me. And now that individual is scarred for life, and they just don't want to deal with that. I don't blame it at all. To the minds of the Nibbas and all, they think that's racist. Well, why won't you let me go in? Dude, it's not about your skin color. It's about who you are and what you act like. Because you can't leave the dysfunction alone. Other cultures have to move in accordance to make sure your dysfunction doesn't rub off on them and everybody else around them. Let's continue.
That's what it is. They don't care about you. They're not your women. I do not understand how you guys don't understand. They keep telling you they do not want to submit to you because they are not your women. They may look like your sister, they may look like your mama, but they are not your women.
And that right there, that is the biggest issue that's the biggest issue with a lot of black men. They were sold this belief, especially from childhood, that a woman that has the same phenotype as them is their woman. And no matter what, no matter if you're successful, no matter if you don't have much going for you, You should always be with the type of woman that looks like you. That's the lie they've been sold. And as long as they continue to believe that lie, then don't expect to get much freedom outside of America. In fact, I would say it's probably going to be in your best interest moving forward if you can't remove the Nibba mindset from your personality, from your ways of thinking, from how you dress and how you associate with people. If you can't remove that mindset, I heavily advise stay put in America. Because I'm telling you right now, as Mad Bus Driver rightfully have said it, you take that nonsense overseas and you go to these other countries and cultures who have no history whatsoever of enslavement, you're going to be far worse off than you would if you would have just stayed put in America. All right, let me finish this up and then I'm going to send a link to some of our members so they could come up and speak about this too. Because we're going to talk about something that's going on in Japan that I saw coming. And I have nobody to blame but the passport bros. But let's go.
They tell you straight up with supreme confidence that it's better for them to live under white supremacy than under the control of a black man. Look it up. Not all of them like that. Of course, not all of them are like that. But the majority do not check that minority of women because the minority is that majority. And they stick together. So their silence is consent. They co-sign the activity even if they don't want to do it themselves. They are not your women.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Dr. Martin Luther King have a famous quote when he said, "When you see injustice being done and you do or say nothing about it, by your silence, you condone it." So the mere fact that the women that you are calling dysfunctional, the mere fact that the other supposed women that are supposed to be good-hearted and, doesn't think like them, but they don't speak up and they don't say anything condemning what those dysfunctional women are saying, the mere fact that as a collective they're not doing so, that should tell you right then and there, they're not your women. Even the silent ones are not your women. But let's finish up.
That trick you over there wifing up in Thailand or in the Philippines is more of your woman than your own BW back in the States. I do not understand why you guys do not get that. Because that chick over there in Thailand, that chick over there in the Philippines, that chick that you marrying overseas come from a traditional background. They come from that background where marriage means you go with your husband. You are now your husband's. You're under his umbrella. That traditional type setup. Not the modern Western relationships of 50-50 or whatever this modern setup is. They are traditional. So that chick is that foreign woman is more of your woman than your own supposed sister here in the States. My bus driver out, and this is ridiculous.
All right, there we go. So there you have it. Straight from the founder of SYSBM himself. Let's Be Frank. Happy holidays to you, brother. Good to see you. So, okay, let me do this. So I am about to send out the bat signal to a few of my compadres. If they want to come up, they can. I am also going to email some people as well while I'm doing this. But yeah, there you have it. That is the gist in and of itself. That is the gist in and of itself. And unfortunately, black men have nobody to blame but themselves. You can hoop and holler about these other cultures not you can hoop and holler about these other cultures not wanting y'all to be around and everything and not wanting to be associated with you. You know what? You may want to take a deeper look at yourself before you get caught up with that. U.S. Steel, Japan just bought the U.S. Steel Mining Company. Yeah, a lot of Asian companies are actually setting foot here in America. There's a Taiwanese semiconductor company that just opened up a plant here in the Valley, in Phoenix. So I think it's good, but I don't know if nibbas are going to be able to work in that type of environment because of culture. Because of culture. Okay, so while I wait for a few brothers who want to join up, SKC and Free Zone, I also sent you the link as well. So, well, yeah, JJ, SKC, and dudes in the Gulag. Y'all want to join up? Y'all can. But while we're doing that, I want to talk about a situation that has happened in Japan. And wouldn't you know it, it happened because of a dude who wanted to wanted to be a nibba overseas. And it's costing him trouble. So let's do this. Like I said, if you got the link, feel free to come up. But we are going to continue. All right. So this next video, we're going to learn about a guy by the name of Johnny Somali. Some of you may heard about that. In fact, Ace, he already mentioned it. But yeah, Johnny Somali. He's been in the news recently, and he hasn't been in the news for any good reasons. And you're going to find out why. So, let's first get a little backdrop on this guy by the name of Johnny Somali. Fair use, but let's begin.
Johnny Somali. He walks around Nagasaki and Hiroshima harassing the citizens of Japan.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know what we did to you? Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Okay, did you just hear that? Did you just hear what this guy said out of his freaking mouth? He's in Hiroshima, or in that video was in Hiroshima or Nagasaki. And this buffoon had the nerve to say, do y'all know what we did to you? Again, I don't have any problem with a Japanese person saying up front they don't want anything to do with black people, black man, black woman, whatsoever. I totally understand. Because of some dumb buffoonery like this person here. Let's continue.
hate him so much. Little did he know he would get absolutely destroyed not that long after. Do you know what the Yakuza is? POV, me when I see a guy, I don't know. Johnny Somali, dude. Johnny Somali. Shut up! Japan is one of my favorite countries in the whole wide world. I love the porn they make. It's awesome. It's also a place of peace. And after the horrors of the world wars, the country has improved dramatically and is open for all to enjoy. Sorry to bring up the world wars. Japan truly is a beautiful place, and I've heard nothing but positive things. The culture is beautiful. I love Asian culture in general, but the Japanese just have a way with the mosaics over the vaginas and the dicks. Let me rephrase that. I seriously really enjoy Japanese culture. It's cool. I'm not a weebaroo or whatever the fuck they're called, but I do love it. And now a lot of people take advantage of the kindness of this country and other Asian countries as well. But cute pussy. Japan specifically has been taken advantage of a lot.
Now, I will say he's absolutely right when he say that Japan gets taken advantage of a lot with these live streamers and vloggers. So it's not just a black thing. I will tell you that. It's not just a black thing, but this individual that we're going to talk about tonight, let's just say he's making it bad for everybody, but especially for black people. Let's continue.
Right? I mean, Suicide Force Logan Paul. Bing! We all know that. Now we have a kick streamer called Johnny Somali. Dude also has a YouTube channel. He's a self-proclaimed Somalian pirate. He walks around Nagasaki and Hiroshima harassing the citizens of Japan in just the most disgusting way that I've seen in a very long time. But by God, it ends great. The story ends so good. Johnny Somali supposedly started streaming after he met Ice Poseidon in Japan. Great role model, by the way. Excellent role model. Maybe the ultimate human being to base yourself off of. Let's see what Ice Poseidon's up to. Oh, he's going to jail for 5 years in a Thai prison?
I wanted to make this video to apologize.
Live streamer Johnny Somali, who claims he started streaming after meeting Ice Poseidon a few months ago in Japan, returns to Japan from Thailand. He would usually post videos of himself on YouTube doing wild stuff, but soon saw views on his videos declining. He since decided to start live streaming. The dude got banned from Ice Poseidon stream, which is saying something.
Somebody tell Ice unban me. I'll raid his ass. Somebody tell Ice Poseidon. He banned you? I'm banned from his kick chat, his Discord, his everything.
He mentions that he's banned from Ice's chat and his Discord and stuff. The context of that is he showed up to a police station claiming to be their lawyer.
Listen, I'm here as the lawyer. Listen.
He's a fucking lunatic. This guy's a lunatic. We'll kind of go back to one of his most popular trips that he live streamed, and it was one to Japan. You could just see him harassing Japanese people on trains, like I mentioned about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, just making fun of those two places. If you don't know, that's where America dropped nuclear bombs in World War II to end the war.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know why we do to you? Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Finally.
Okay, so this shows you right there. This man has no clue about Japanese culture, because one thing I've learned, and shout out to Shinobi Bro, he told me about this and a few other guys who either lived or visited Japan. They told me that, look, when you are traveling to Japan, it's okay to take pictures when you're out and about, but it's not okay to engage an individual in public with the camera on without their consent. And furthermore, it's also not a good idea to strike up a conversation with a random person while on the train. These lessons I took to heart before I even booked my first flight to visit Tokyo. But as you can see from this buffoon, not this white guy, but Mr. Johnny Somali, this dude either did not have a clue or he truly believed he was above the laws and above any other culture. So let's continue.
A hero of our time stands up to him and states that he's being obnoxious and incredibly disrespectful.
We do again. You understand? What? What do you mean? Where you from?
Now, I want you to pay attention to this interaction. So, this is a guy on the far right, dressed in blue. He's also from America. But check out this interaction.
Where you from? I'm from America. You're from America? Yes. So much.
Then the streamer asks for this man's ethnicity, and he says he's Korean. And then Johnny Somali, the great person that he is, says, "We'll do the Korean War again."
Where are you from? What's your ethnicity?
Texas, buddy.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm Korean.
Then sit down, brother.
Why don't you sit your ass?
Korean War, you know what happened to you?
Don't touch me. I'm nauseous, brother.
Don't touch me,
Leave
brother.
this guy alone.
Korean War, North Korean War, you know what we did to you.
I don't think
You know, let me just say this. I've heard this talk before of black people can't be racist. Blacks can't be racist because, so to speak, we're the only ones that have gone through some sort of slavery and whatnot. So when a black person says anything negative about a white person or any non-black person, that's not considered racist. I'm gonna tell you right now, what this dude just did, first off, telling random Japanese people in their city of Hiroshima, Nagasaki about the bomb, and then a fellow Korean American who is just simply trying to help this guy, like, hey, it's not a good idea to be talking like this in public. What does he do? What does he do? He sits up here and tells him, we'll start the Korean War again. This is why, again, I do not feel sorry for any of these knuckleheads who go overseas, act like a straight up buffoon, and get the brakes beaten out of them. Especially when they deserve it. This warrants a beatdown. But yeah, y'all want me to feel bad about somebody like Jonathan Majors being railroaded because, so to speak, his ex-girlfriend was white. Let's continue.
Johnny Somali knows anything about wars or how they start. This is a fucking idiot. And the dude in the blue shirt just wants him to be a good person and be a good example for Americans, and he doesn't care, obviously.
Why don't you be a good representative?
Why don't you sit down?
Like, you don't make Americans look
I don't
good.
give a fuck about America.
You're from America.
I give a fuck about my money.
He's an absolute intolerable piece of shit and rides off the hate gate and has just not even 10,000 followers. It's so bad, man. And after the stream ended, the clips went super viral and they were on Reddit and shit, and 5 million views on Reddit. That's a lot. That's like 50 million views anywhere else. Dude starts a new stream just a few hours later and celebrates the same night, talking to people on Discord and laughing about everything that went down. Little did he know he would get absolutely destroyed not that long after. The people of Japan begin to fight back. Karma is real and it exists heavily in Japan. So Johnny is talking to his friends celebrating on Discord, and a man approaches him on a motorcycle and asks if he wants to repeat what he said about Pearl Harbor, and then asks if he wants to fight.
I don't say nothing. Nothing, bro. I don't say nothing. No, 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 no. No, I don't want to. Nothing.
Johnny, being the brave
When a Japanese person comes up to you and says, do you want to repeat Pearl Harbor? That should be a telltale sign. Dude, shut the hell up and abide by the rules and laws of the country. Okay? when it gets that bad to where a group of people who are known for being kind and generous to foreigners and love to be associated with good, like-minded foreigners, when it gets to the point to where they gotta threaten you, talking about, hey, do you want to repeat Pearl Harbor? I don't feel bad for these buffoons that travel overseas and do this. Again, this is not just a black thing, but it's starting to have a black face. Passport bros are starting to be the black face of Jim Crow overseas. Let's continue.
Stallion of a man that he is backs into a corner and is incredibly scared while all of his friends laugh in discord.
What? Bye-bye, nothing.
He then walks away from the scene incredibly awkwardly and quickly and makes this dumb face.
We're good, we're good, we're good. We're good.
I hate him so much. I've never seen someone come off as more of a pussy and just, I don't even want to use the word a beta. Betas are respectable. It's like an actual place in the hierarchy. This guy is just an absolute outcast. He's terrible. Nothing is good about this character. The dude.
You know what? I agree. This individual, yeah, he's definitely not a beta. He's an incel. This is the making of an incel. This Johnny Somali that you're seeing before. And if anybody trying to say, oh, well, he's trying to be SYSB and whatnot, far from it. We don't look for incels to join our group. Yeah. Clue, Cool Kamasi, Free Zone, Atriism, y'all still in. Feel free if y'all want to join up to talk about this, because definitely going to be talking about this for a while. All right, we got somebody here. Let me stop this real quick. And it's my man, JJ. What's going on, good sir?
What's happening? What's going on to the chat and everybody here? What's up, Sigma?
Hey, my apology for missing the stream last night and all, but I was able to watch the rerun, the replay and everything. But man, solid work. Solid work.
Oh yeah, I had to bring my own flair into it, because it had been a while since I talked on my channel, so I had to let everybody know I was still alive and everything. But yeah, I'm looking at this Johnny Somali. I've seen the story of him on the train going against the Japanese people, saying the infamous cities that got bombed. But I didn't know he was doing his other stuff. I'm looking at his Instagram right now. He's definitely a very arrogant individual, very proud of himself.
And what's crazy,
Yeah.
JJ, he's not even from Somali. He's an American.
Oh, he just goes by that, huh? That's just something
Right.
to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, a monkeyer. Ay. It's something about these Gen Z cats, because I saw an article. He's just 24 years old.
Yeah.
It's like these dudes. I'm millennial, right? I guess you are too, but like I don't know. The Gen Z cats have to put all their business out, positive or negative, online. Like no matter what. Oh, I brushed my teeth. Let me post this. Oh, I wiped my booty hole with sandpaper. Let me talk about this. Oh, I didn't like the taste of this food. Man, it like burnt. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you ain't got to tell all your business like that, man. Just go live your life. He or she, like I don't need to know all that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely is more of a Gen Z in regards of using social media to tell what you're doing and whatnot. But sad to say, when it comes down to using social media, far as race of people, blacks is really across the board. Like, Free Zone Lou, he has a clip of a guy who went down to some country in South America, and this dude got in trouble with one of the ladies of the night down there. And first off, he's staying in an Airbnb, so he's staying in a place that's not his and
Oh
whatnot.
boy.
He invites a woman of the night to,
Oh boy.
I guess, come over and get some action. There's an altercation that happens between him and her, and she breaks the window of his Airbnb. And so he's scrambling, I guess the next day he's scrambling, going to the ghetto parts of whatever country he's in to look for somebody who can repair the window on the cheap. And then
Oh
when
God.
all that's said and done, he then goes on recording like, man, I'm gonna go give me another big booty on my mama. And this dude, he looked like he gotta be maybe Gen X, maybe a little bit younger, millennial, older millennial. But it's sad, man. It's sad that right now, black men who travel overseas, this is the image that everybody now thinks of them.
I'm saying, man, that's why I made the comment section earlier. Like the passport bros are looking like pirates right now, dog. They'll go to a country, they'll plunder, they'll take, they'll party, but they don't give back at all. That's what it's looking like to me. It's like, it's terrible what they're doing, you know? And I know it's not all, black expats or passport bros per se, but there's too many players in there, number one. There's too many pookies on the other end as well. And they're, like you said, they're advertising everything that they're doing almost daily. Like it's almost like an addiction in a way. They got to calm down with that, especially like you said, with the older passport bros having to play Nana Nana Boo Boo to Keisha's, their ex wives or girlfriends back home, and then they figured out what they're doing, especially out there in Thailand in particular. Like they're literally going halfway around the world just to copy what they're doing and to keep tabs on them and try to, score one against them like it's a game. Everything's a game.
Right,
It's crazy. It's like, guys, just live y'all's lives. You're supposed to be doing better anyway.
right.
You don't have to tell everybody back home, your every step. Let them keep wondering and guessing. Let them keep trying to figure things out. Oh man, he must be doing bad. I haven't heard from him in days. Nope. He's drinking Mai Tais. He's jet skiing across the Gulf of Thailand to care about anything you think. So, hey,
Right. It'd be one thing if, you post a picture every now and then of like, hey, I just went and visited Asakusa in Tokyo, or I just went to Pattaya in Thailand to, do some Muay Thai. It's one thing to post a few pictures here and there. But like you said, when you are showing everybody video after video after video of all of your interactions, and especially when you show your interactions of, hey, I'm traveling to this such and such place because the women here, I heard they just like black men and all. Like I cringe when I hear that, especially when I hear guys, you know, and I'm pretty sure you experienced this too, JJ, where you just came from a trip, whether in the States or overseas. Now, most non-black people, whites, Asians, Hispanics, and all, a lot of the questions they ask you is about the food, the culture, what places you visit there, what was the stay as far as like where you stayed and everything, or maybe what advice would you give as far as like traveling and all. They'll ask you those type of questions.
right.
It never ceased to amaze me. Anytime I talk to a black man about my recent travels, the first thing he asks, what the women like over there.
Never fails. It never fails. Oh gosh. What was my last? Oh, I got one. I was 18 years old. It wasn't out of the States. It was to Miami.
Hmm.
So I traveled with my granddad. He was a part of the organization called 100 Black Men. I'm pretty sure you heard of it before. So we go down there. It's like it was like a national meeting down there. At the time, they had all these different celebrities come to talk with the youth, like the former mayor of Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick, who he was like the first so-called hood mayor. That didn't turn out so well. You also had Magic Johnson there, and Ludacris was there, the rapper. But one of the guys that came with me, he was dubbed the top student from the program because he had got kicked out of school and stuff, and he started doing better once he entered the second chance program.
Right.
So anyway, I'm in my hotel room. You would think this guy was in our hotel room as well. He stayed in a different room. I was with somebody else. So I'm looking down at the street, and I recognize him, right? What this boy doing? He's chasing a fat, overweight, not even attracted to me, Latina lady trying to get her phone number. I'm looking down like, dog, what is you doing? I see why you were the one to come to Miami. He wanted some action right away. Now, did he get that at the end of the day? I don't know, but I never tried to ask him. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, gosh. I see why he came with us after all.
Man. Free Zone, I sent the link out, sir. So if you want to jump in on this, feel free. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised to hear that where the dude is just like, I need to get some action. Rather than enjoy the scenery, enjoy the environment, the food, meet some people there, not just women, but actually, meet guys there and everything. Nah. His only interest is chasing tail. All right. Well, let's continue with this Johnny Somali, because there's some more stuff going on with this guy that we definitely need to continue talking about. So let's see. And this should be fine. Okay, here we go.
Dude confronts him again and says he's going to call the police, and then asks him.
And JJ, feel free if you need me to pause or you have something you want to say when you hear something. Feel free.
Okay.
Why he would say something racist and terrible like that.
I got you on camera. Call police, man. No. Call police. You call police for what? Yeah. For what? Because you tried to attack me. Call. Yeah. I call police. Go back. Call. Yeah.
And then the dude says, of course, no, it wasn't me. Of course it was me. It was a donation that said it, not him.
I want your reason. Why? Somebody, okay. Somebody give me your money. No. Somebody give me money, and they said say it. No. So I said on
the wait. So because somebody sent you money over a live stream, and they asked you say this out loud, all of a sudden you're obligated to say that.
Yeah, that's sad. Slave to YouTubers. Or should I say commentators on your own live stream. Like, come on. Like, you don't have to do what they tell you to. Like, you're not a kid.
And again, you're in another country. Okay? Some of the things he's doing right now, maybe you could get away with here in America because, we value freedom of speech. But my God, you go to say this in another country because somebody paid you to say that? Free Zone. Good, sir. What's going on?
It's funny. What's good, fellas? What's good? Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, good sir.
It's funny watching this boy crash out. He trying to explain. They don't care about your explanation, bro. They don't care. You said it. That's the point.
Right.
So it's like he's lucky he's even asking him like why he said it.
Yeah, he's lucky he just doesn't get popped right there with it, like he has a pistol or something.
Free Zone. If a random Japanese person come up to you and say, hey, you want me to repeat Pearl Harbor? You didn't screwed up in some form or fashion.
Yeah. He don't really have no comeback, because it's like, bro, you said it, and that it may fly in the U.S., but you got to know where you at, man. You got to know where you at. I notice a lot of these guys that travel, under this facade of, leaving their comfort zone, while all the while attempting to do the same things that they did in the States.
Yeah.
Some of these folks they should not have passports.
Yeah, I have to agree too, man.
They just should.
But it gets interesting. Let's watch some more.
The train. You see it? Yeah. Somebody give me money. Somebody? Donation.
Obviously, Johnny Somali apologizes to the man, and it's incredibly half-assed. He just doesn't want to get his shit rocked.
It's a joke. What? Yeah, we're not playing, bro. It's a joke. Yo, he mad. What is he mad about?
Being 108 pounds soaking wet doesn't give you a lot of room to be an asshole, unless you're behind a monitor. Obviously, you just have a keyboard.
We had some crazy moments. More is coming. More is coming. Anybody I spoke to tonight, I'll speak the same way. I don't give a fuck. You was being racist for no reason. Who was I racist to? And how can I be black and racist?
I don't like Johnny Somali at all. Johnny Somali.
This dude.
Amazing.
Just says, how can I be racist when I'm black?
Yeah, that doesn't work in Japan, malnourished Myron. It don't work over there. It don't work. Flimsy and fit.
Oh,
Let me get out of there. I'm sorry.
We'll get out of this.
Flimsy and frightened. That's all he is.
Right. Let's continue.
Really doesn't know how to be a good person, it seems. He clearly has no respect for Asian people whatsoever. And Johnny really doesn't seem to care about the bad press that's coming his way from all these just things he's been doing. He has his wanted level on Instagram. Oh my God, man. That is so dumb. Like, how does this end for this guy? This is the most short-sighted career I've ever seen. Johnny starts his stream up again after he gets harassed by this racist Japanese fellow. And he says he's got a few fans coming out to the place he is staying, which in reality is just a bunch of people trying to stop him.
Yo, so we got some fans that pulled out right now
from doing what he's consistently doing and get him to apologize, which is awesome. He gets approached by a group of Japanese streamers and content creators and is called out for his incredibly disrespectful behavior. It's awesome. It's a pretty large group of people that confront him. They look like good folk.
No weapon. Okay.
They say, that's not funny. That is a bad joke, and you are disrespectful to the community. And he gets scared again and says, let's just use our words and not fight.
What you did is one of the something that is disrespectful for the whole Japanese community, and that is why Japan is really, really mad.
Check this out. You got random Japanese people. This just shows you how cool Japanese people are. You got random Japanese people going out of their way to come to you and be like, bro, we just want to let you know it's not cool what you're doing. Can you kind of not do that? We don't want to see you get hurt and everything, because, there are some people that look like us that's not as forgiving. So can you not do that? I mean, my goodness. If you got Japanese people, good Japanese people trying to warn you, trying to make you go a clear path, and you like, screw all that, I'm gonna be me and do what I'm gonna do. At that point, you're on your own, bro. Anything that happens to you from that point forward, I feel no remorse. What's going on, Kamasi?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing, man? I wonder if he's asking who's the captain now.
Oh, God help him. God help him.
And he
All right.
it's just it's an incompatible. It's just incompatible, man. Like that whole community minded, where it's, you know, in America, the whole bad publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. That don't apply in these foreign countries.
Nope.
Bad publicity is just that, bad publicity. And you got a bunch of people who aren't afraid to call you out on it, to step up to you. You're in a foreign country. You stick out like a sore thumb. It's just a bad look, man. It's just these are the same folks that, you know, if it was in the States, they do something stupid and it's a prank, bro. It's a prank. Why are you wilding out? It's a prank.
Worst things would happen if it was in the States.
Bro, it barely works in the States. You trying to get this off in Japan. Like, bro, you deserve whatever happens to you.
And guns are banned in Japan, correct?
They're banned, but let's just say
People got them.
Yeah,
People got them.
the recent former Prime Minister Shin Abe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, even though the guy that killed him, that was a makeshift gun, but
Yeah.
you could say somebody can make one of their own.
You better be careful, man. You gonna get Shinzo Abe himself, Mr. Salami.
Yeah, man.
I heard enough Japanese wrestling backstage stories to know you don't fuck around in Japan. I heard
That's
too many.
it. He lucky he not Johnny Salami. They'll definitely cut him up.
All right, let's continue.
But can we talk? We don't need to fight, you know? Why use words? Let's use words.
He acts like it's all just a big misunderstanding when he's confronted with a large group. Literally a witch. This guy's a witch, man. In Salem, this motherfucker would be burned alive, all right? Come on, guys. I didn't mean to cast the spell and put the garlic into the cauldron. Well, you put the garlic into the cauldron, so now it's time to burn. I'm not saying I'm going to burn Johnny, obviously. I'm just saying that's what has happened to people in the past when they do stuff like this. This group presses Johnny the idiot and says that they're not mad about the single train incident. They're mad that he went on the train again and had a bunch of disrespectful donation sounds that played in a quiet train car with commuters.
Yo, God, I'm so sorry.
This guy went on the train and did it again. He did it again.
Hard heads make soft asses.
Facts.
Right on. Right on.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening. Yo, what is this, bro? Stop.
He obviously, having an inability to take responsibility for his actions, blames it on his viewers and TTS and says it's not his fault. It's because it's the people who are watching who are doing it. Oh, little Johnny, smart. That's a good little workaround there, you little bastard.
You had that like train where you put some sounds on them?
Yeah.
Sexual sounds. And it's
Can you tell them that I don't control the sound? Can you explain to them what TTS is?
And these are all content creators. They understand how this works.
just turn it off. Yeah. Instead of just letting it sound, you know.
During all this, the camera pans to the main character of an anime, and Johnny is confused and says, "Why are you naked?" This whole thing is very frustrating. There's no getting through to Johnny Somali. He's an absolute fucking goober. Refuses to listen to anything that anyone says, and they just want him to apologize. And he doesn't know why he needs to apologize.
Just say you're sorry to Japanese people and you take this seriously.
He gets a donation message that he just doesn't understand, and he doesn't know what it says. He says, "That's not my fault," and they ask him to turn it off.
I don't know. I don't know what's up. Oh, sorry, that was not my fault. Okay, turn it off.
And then a translator in the group pleads with him just to say, "Hey, man, I'm sorry." And of course, he says, "Apologize for what?" Acting as if he's done nothing wrong.
Hey, I don't have no problem with Japan. Okay, but say you're sorry.
Sorry for what incident?
He then makes the epic claim that he has autism and mental illness and blames it on that, which is just truly the cherry on top of this whole situation, guys. Johnny Somali, he's not a piece of shit. He just has autism. One of the best moments, someone hands Johnny a phone and it reads a translated message and says,
Y'all want to comment on
He
that?
cooked, bro. He cooked. He's cooked. Jesus, man. Like, why don't you just turn off your camera, man? People don't need this content that bad. You're trying to explain why how your content works, and it's just getting you in more trouble. So why don't you just not make content like that or do pre-records?
He's still acting like he can't be touched, man. That's what kind of makes me upset the most. He acts like he can't be touched or he can't be fazed by their criticism until it's too late.
Didn't he just get in trouble the other day for, I think I saw like an article of him getting, I think he got fined or something like that for playing loud music outside of some restaurant.
Yeah, I read that. Like, it was like $1,000, which isn't a huge fine, but I mean, he should still pay it. It was like $1,000 or something. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, it's bigger than that. It's a repeated pattern of behavior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, one of these days, like, you don't think, like, after something like this, you don't think that your punishment could get worse, whether it's by the government or by the people.
He'll make his way to Korea next and do the same thing there. Go to Philippines, Thailand, go down all around the world and do all the same thing there.
He said Korea. See, next thing you know, Johnny's gonna repeat. He's gonna do just like Travis King and cross the DMZ. Don't give him ideas.
Is he like the Austin Holloman of Japan? Is that what's pretty much going on right now?
Well, you know what? Let's find out. Let's find out
let's
because
find
I
out.
got a whole bunch of videos on this guy just for tonight. So let's find out.
Yeah.
that Johnny is a nobody and a loser.
Whoa. Bro, relax.
Johnny is then told that he must take responsibility for every action he does from now on because they came to him to force him to apologize. And if he doesn't change, he deserves what's coming. That is called fuck around and find out, Johnny Somali.
Here's the thing, right? You have to be responsible for every action that you undertake from now in this country. You can't make no excuses, right? You can't blame it on TTS. You can't blame it on chat. You have to be responsible. If you're not willing to be responsible, then don't play the game.
Oh, man. I want to see what happens next.
How do you guys
Japan is a very small country, right? So here's the thing. If you want to play this game, you have to apologize. If you're not going to apologize, then they're probably just going to show you to apologize.
The crowd is still angry and they want him to apologize, and he pulls the race card and asks if it's because he's black, if that's the reason they want him to apologize.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are angry at you.
But is it because I'm black or is it because
it's not because you're black.
You don't know who Bob Sapp is.
Disrespectful.
And it's so.
Go ahead, Kamasi.
I was going to say just real quick, he doesn't know who Bob Sapp is to say that. How big Bob Sapp is in Japan alone.
Right. Like a country like Japan, when it comes to saving face, you do need to save face in Japan. You can hoop and holler about, oh, it's not my fault, it's not what I do and everything, but I didn't do anything wrong. Dude, we got you on video doing these crazy things. Just apologize.
So confusing, dude. Then a white guy says he harassed a guy on a train for $20, which makes him a bitch.
You harass some rando dude on the train for $20. That makes you a bitch.
Which is fucking awesome because they know that he is just as much of a piece of shit as we know him to be. It ends with Johnny promising he won't do any more TTS on public places or public transit and never stream on a train ever again.
Atomic Mom? Play again? No Atomic Mom no more.
You're not going to play no TTS on no trains.
Okay, not on the train.
You're not going to play no TTS on the trains and in public places, and you're never going to stream on a train again.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, you're
But-
never gonna stream on a train in this country.
But no TTS, no TTS.
No.
I'll
Don't
agree to that.
stream on a train in this country. Right? Respect the trains. Respect people's privacy. Don't talk to randos. And realize you're not a comedian.
Okay, what's okay? Gomen aside, Japan. Gomen aside. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, nido tomo shimasen.
二度としません。
Repeat after me. What does that mean?
I won't do it another time.
I'll never play again.
I will not say nothing about atomic bomb again. Never.
Yeah, don't bring up Hiroshima. Don't bring up Nagasaki. Don't bring up war. And don't film randos.
It takes so fucking long, but he finally apologized and said he won't make those jokes again. And then they say if he makes dumb jokes again, that they're going to find him. And you can tell that he looks scared, which is good. He should be.
Look,
what is he saying?
To get to the
What is he saying?
He's saying if you do dumb shit again, they're gonna find you.
They're gonna find me.
Yeah, they will find you.
And by the way, he did it again, and they did find him, and it's awesome. It's funny to me that when he's one-on-one on the train with the poor Korean fellow, he just says there'll be a repeat of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and we'll do the Korean War again. But when he is confronted by an entire group of people, he changes his entire tune, and his character goes right out the window. And that group of people, by the way, is not the only people who took the disrespect of the Japanese culture to heart. All right. Do you know what the Yakuza is? Well, I do. And I like it. A few days go by. Johnny decides to get back on a train. And what a surprise! He's streaming again, talking in the quiet car.
I will not make money. I just want to get to my destination in peace.
Oh, then he realizes the same guy that...
They never learn.
Never learns, man.
They never learn.
It's like
He didn't get enough ass beatings as a kid. It's kind of obvious.
You know what? I know it's not going to sound right, but I think sometimes for a lot of these dudes that's traveling overseas, a beatdown is the only way they can get the message across. That's the only way. Because, again, you have a group of Japanese people, and look like it was also some expats there. It's like, dude, just apologize, okay? Just apologize and say you won't do it again. And even when he apologized, you could tell it was half-hearted. It wasn't serious, and he wasn't on camera, so you could probably say like, wasn't really anybody else that's doing it. And then the very next day, he's recording himself on the train.
Very next day. And it's sad that he never learned the language yet either. Like he's asking them, like, what does that mean? Not Gomen aside, but something. It was like a different sentence. But yeah,
right.
The fact that he's been there all that time and never bothered to learn the language just shows you how little he respects the culture and the country overall.
Right.
Terrible.
But let's continue.
It made him apologize is back and is angry. He stands there menacingly, begins to record him, and he pulls the same shit again that he said he wouldn't do.
Oh my God, it's you again. It's off. It's off. Yo.
He shifts the blame and says, why not focus on Logan Paul? They tell him to shut the fuck up, but he can't because he's an idiot.
How
funny you mentions Logan Paul.
But how appropriate. The white man do it too.
Right. Logan Paul is a celebrity, my guy. He's a way bigger name than you. You're not Logan Paul status. There's your answer.
But you know what, Logan Paul... Oh, go ahead, Free Zone.
Oh no, I was gonna say Logan Paul is also not disrespecting the culture, talking about Hiroshima and bombs and Pearl Harbor and stuff.
Right, Logan Paul.
He ain't doing that.
He did mess up when he went to the Sea of Forest, the Akikahara Forest, and he actually filmed a deceased body out in the forest. But
oh yeah, that was a bad move.
Yeah, that was a bad move. But after that, you didn't hear of Logan Paul again when it came to Japan.
Yep.
But this dude right here, I mean, You got people looking at the screen right now, videotaping him. Because it's like, okay, you want to be famous? We're going to make you famous. Yeah.
You don't know that the Yakuza is Korean too. They got a good contingent of Korean people in the Yakuza, if I'm correct. So saying that is just wow.
I mean, this dude even messed up and say, well, we'll start the Korean War again. It's like, bruh.
All we gotta do is cross the DMZ. I'm telling you, we're giving them ideas right now.
You
We'll
do
go to the
realize
DMZ.
they could just send you over there to the DMZ and you may not come back alive. I forgot that one man who came back as a vegetable, but that should tell you something right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue.
Why are you guys focused on me? Why you don't focus on Logan Paul? Why just me?
He is then shuffled off the train and into the hands of police. Thank God. He then says that this is racism and that the police are harassing him instead of the guys who were recording him. He said he did no crime and this is just a racist thing. And he asked the police if they knew George Floyd, MLK Jr., and Black Lives Matter.
Wait a minute.
Ding, ding. There you go.
Wait a minute. Shout out Angry Snowman. Wait a minute. I know he did.
I gotta drop down, fellas.
Right,
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Free Zone.
Happy holidays, bro.
Free Zone.
I know he did not just ask them, do they know about George Floyd?
Does he want to get George Floyd or what?
Like,
masochistic, man. Fantasies.
Dog. Angry Snowman, I'm gonna send you the link too, sir, if you want to join in. But it's like, dude, seriously? You gonna talk about racism? It's like, do y'all know about George Floyd or Black Lives Matter? Bro, this is not America. All right? They don't give a hoot what happened to George Floyd because it didn't happen on their soil.
Straight facts.
Wow. Just wow. SKC has this dude on the spectrum. Probably is. I mean,
he's
you gotta
he's
look at
master
him.
troll. I think the Clue Channel said he's the J Rillo of Japan. I have to agree. J Rillo is just like this in the Dominican Republic. Just like this.
Actually, the guy that I was telling you about, who went to that country and got the window busted out, that was him, Jay Rillo.
Ah, no surprise.
Yeah.
No surprise.
But let's continue.
Yo, David, look. Look, how can you record me?
This is racism. What is going on? Now they're bringing the big boys here. Call police, no problem.
You guys, I ain't do no crime. This is racism. You know George Floyd, Martin Luther King, Black Lives Matter. You know it's Black History Month coming soon? I think that was February, 4 months ago.
Johnny tries to walk away.
Oh my God.
This man will not shut up.
Damn.
So, do you know Black History Month? Bro, why in the heck would Japan care about Black History Month? Dog, like, seriously.
He's enforcing Black History Month by enforcing all the stereotypes.
Pretty
I'm
much.
gonna go all out.
I mean,
He wants
pretty
to
much.
be he wants to be the George Floyd of Japan. I think that was his mission.
Yeah.
The first Daggle sacrifice for Japan. There you go.
Away and tries to escape the situation, and they say, "No fucking way, dude! You're staying here, right with us."
I'm gonna leave. I'm going. Bye-bye. Yo, bye-bye. Yo. No. Relax. Yo. 大丈夫。
And after all of this, he finally feels the need to apologize naturally, or he was forced to apologize online. I'm not exactly sure, but he bows his head and speaks in Japanese. And I think his apology was fake and hollow like the first time.
本当にごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
People fucking hate this guy in Japan. As you could probably imagine, there's so many terrible clips of him just being a disgusting piece of shit and racist towards the citizens of a peaceful country. It's just so many examples of him being a terrible person. And that led to him getting confronted a few more times. He got slapped. He got punched. He got choked. If there's a circumstance in which those events would transgress naturally again, I would implore that to happen, please. But only if that would happen naturally in a natural scenario. Obviously, I'm not asking for that to happen. If it does happen, and guys, cherry on top, Mr. Johnny Somali gets confronted by a supposed ex-Yakuza member, and he is forced to bow and apologize. That is fucking awesome. But this whole time he said,
Okay, I can tell you right now. In fact, let me go back to that image if I can get that real quick. Where is it at? See if I can get it right here. Hold on a second.
confronted by a supposed ex-Yakuza member, and he is forced to bow and apologize. That is fucking awesome.
This here, when you have to prostrate yourself in apology like this, dude, I think it's time you leave the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed the guy said ex-Yakuza member. So yeah, finally had to get somebody that was mean and meant business to make that dude heal like he's doing now.
Yeah. When you gotta prostrate yourself in an apology, I think it's time for you to leave the country. As soon as you're done, get your luggage, get your package, whatever you came with, and you board the next plane out of Japan. Because now you are a marked man.
Mm-hmm. And that's how he got Austin Holloman.
All right, let's continue.
But this whole time he says CX in the chat, which is an outdated laughing emoji, meaning he's not actually sorry.
People in Japan, Paul Danino, Ice Poseidon, everybody. CX in the chat.
Even after being completely fucking humiliated by this guy and this guy and this guy. But yeah, and he's not sorry, dude. He went to Disney World and played a song fucking mimicking Japanese people. And another that just says atomic bomb over and over and over again.
Atomic bomb.
And by the way,
damn, Pete.
Like, this is why I don't feel sorry for black men that go overseas and do stupid stuff like this. I don't feel sorry for them. I mean, like, you know, as much as I want to defend, you know, passport bros and guys who travel overseas and everything, Truism, I sent the link, so if you want to jump on, feel free. As much as I would like to defend passport bros and guys who travel overseas, because we are not all like this. Let me just put it out there to the audience. We are not all like this. There are guys like us who not only respect the culture, but we want to be ingratiated in the cultures all around the world and make friends, make acquaintances, maybe even, you know, start a family in these cultures and all. We are not all like this buffoon. But unfortunately, you have to let the chips fall where they fall. Because when buffoons like this, who clearly, I put it like this, the lights are on, but nobody's home. He gives me that type of vibe of something's not there. Just not there. Oh, no problem, Truism. Something is just not there. I think it's best, guys like him, no, you just stay in America. Stay in America. Don't travel overseas. You would be better served by keeping your antics at home. Because you go overseas And I'm surprised this guy has not found himself having to commit seppuku or find his head chopped off.
No doubt. Crazy.
But let's continue.
This guy has a massive community of like 500 people who are just as stupid and offensive as he is. He's just blasting racist music. What a piece of shit. And making fun of the way Japanese people talk. Come on. FYI, Disney has rules against this. All of Johnny's activities are prohibited by King Disney. Look at this. Public transmission of any recording or any kind that may inconvenience other guests. But every time he's fucking confronted, he just says, I'm not live streaming. I'm going to talk FaceTime call. I want him to get arrested so fucking bad. Genuinely. I cannot believe he hasn't been arrested yet, and Mizzy has. I feel like Mizzy isn't even as bad as Johnny Somali. This whole viral outrage exposure trend makes me the opposite of horny. All right. Makes me sicky blicky to my stummy wummy. I don't like it. It's not a laughing moment. So what's Johnny Somali doing right now, guys? Well, at the time of recording this, he's got 100 viewers in Thailand, I think. Johnny is chronically online and maybe one of my least favorite content creators of all time. I think he's done.
Okay, so that's this video. Now let's go to one that Freezone shared a couple of while back. And this kind of gives more into details of what went down. Because that video just kind of give you a synopsis of what he was doing in Japan. Now let's speed things up and see, okay, what did he get himself into? So here we go.
They're making an example out of this. This is never getting out, bro. They told me to take his clothes.
That's the friend who was filming the IRL streamer that ruined his life in Japan by disrespecting the culture for attention on the internet. This streamer spent roughly 1 month testing the limits of Japan for content until he was scared out of Japan and fled for a month. But then his views went downhill massively, and clearly he was desperate to get his numbers back up. So he made the dumbest decision of his life and returned to Japan with the friend that we just saw. And that friend becomes very relevant in today's story because once they arrived in Japan, they went right back to testing the limits of the Japanese social norms and law. And unfortunately for them, because of how disrespectful they were, the police were building a massive case against them. And because they live streamed every single crime they committed, that made it very easy for police to compile everything against them. So both these guys ended up getting arrested. Johnny's now facing years in a prison work camp where he has to potentially work to pay off the victims affected by his actions.
I like that. I like that.
Similar.
I like the name Prison Work Camp.
Yeah, I like that too. And in fact, one guy I talked about in one of the streams where we were talking about Japanese prison and everything. There was one guy who committed murder, I believe, in Okinawa, and he was sentenced to life in a Japanese prison work camp, meaning you're just not going to sit in prison and do nothing, buddy. Oh, we are going to work you like a slave. And you know what? I have nothing against it. I'm all for it. There's a reason for the saying, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. But yeah, let's find out what happened to this dude who was dumb enough to come back to Japan after he was ran off to Thailand for a little bit. He decides to come back with a friend and decide, hey, because of clicks and views, we're going to do the same thing and see what we can get away with in Japan. Okay, let's find out.
But weaker sentence until suddenly he's out of jail. But he's still in Japan and live streaming, and he believes his friend is going to spend a long time behind bars, which raises a lot of questions because one would think if he's out of jail, wouldn't he be thrown out of Japan? Unless maybe he's testifying against his friend in the upcoming court case. Who knows, though? That's all speculation. But this is how he opens up the first live stream about the situation Johnny and him got into after being released from jail.
Let's just say it's not good.
He then says his side of the story.
Okay, so here's what happened. The police called me. They had my phone number somehow. And they're like, yo, we need you to come down to the station for questioning. I'm like, okay, chat, I should be fine, right? They only want me for questioning.
Look how dumb this buffoon is.
And you know when they talked to him on the phone, they didn't tell him yo.
First off, the mere fact that they got your phone number, you should be taking that seriously. Like, oh, snaps. This is the Japanese police department, and they want me to come down to the station. There's nothing funny about that.
Aye. Let's keep it rolling.
They're not gonna arrest me, right? Me being a dumbass. I said, okay, so let me go ahead to the station. And that's when y'all had seen me start up my stream. I started up my stream and I went outside and I was finna head to the station. Yes, I went like a dumb. I should have, bro, my mom, I don't even want to say this on live because the police might be watching.
Dude, the police are watching. This is still an active investigation. The trial hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, so they called me up. I went out the hotel and I started walking towards the police station. There's 3 waiting outside. They're not in police outfit. They're in like normal outfits.
And then we had the clip that we covered in my last video on the situation of him being arrested. But then he gives us some information about Johnny.
It's no joke, bro. I can't imagine what Johnny Somali is going through right now. I can't imagine what this is going through. I'm trying to tell you. Oh my God, bro. But I can't imagine what he's stuck in there for so long.
Johnny successfully played himself. He made an entire country hate him while broadcasting himself committing crimes over and over again in this country while saying nothing's gonna happen. Dude, of course they're gonna throw the book at you. The dude literally asked for it, and here we are.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Every night I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, bro, these Japanese trying to teach us a lesson.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today.
Oh man.
This dude's literally said out of his mouth, I think the Japanese are trying to have us learn something. You think, Mr. Dum Dum?
Of course.
And again, this is the image of your passport bros. This is the image of black men who travel overseas. Again, we ourselves, on this panel and in the chat, we don't act like this overseas or even when we're traveling in states. But unfortunately, because these buffoons have no control over themselves and just want to put themselves out there like Keisha, this is the image that everybody sees. And you know what? Again, like I said before, if some business owner overseas has a sign up that says no blacks allowed, no colors here, or no black men or whatnot, I am in full support of it. Because you know what? We have nobody to blame but themselves.
Yep, the classic image of a passport Pookie. Damn.
Yeah, let's continue.
Trying to put us away for life. These is not trying to let us go.
When you realize your actions actually have consequences. But then he explains how prison's like there.
As y'all know, in the Japanese system, they have investigators coming every single day investigating you for, I think it was around 5-ish to 8-ish hours a day. You get investigated every single day. So y'all can understand how you're getting investigated every single day. You're sleeping on a little thin tatami mat. The tatami mat is probably this thick. You're eating obento boxes. I mean, a little bit of y'all know, somebody probably knows what a bento box is. But a bento box is something like this. It's like a box. It's a food, and it's cold food. It's cold little portion of food built for Asian. Americans don't get full off that.
So the question they should be asking themselves is,
he don't realize he just made a racist statement right there.
There you go. I was waiting for it.
Wow.
It's like, wow. You're saying that only Asians get full off of bento boxes? Bruh, get out the country.
Yeah.
Get out the country and head back to America, because the more you talk, the more self-incriminating. This dude might as well just write a novel about all of the crimes he did.
You got a full rap sheet like a professional athlete.
I mean, parts of what he's saying is true because I did videos about Japanese prisons and how, you're on a schedule. Not going to sit up here and be lazy like they allow you to do in a American prison. But it's just like this dude just said it out of his mouth, like, yeah, they got these bento boxes and the food is cold and everything. And you can't get full off it because it's meant for Asians. Americans can't get full off it. It's like, bro, have you talked to an attorney? Because what you just said is incriminating. And they will use it against you in a Japanese court. Let's continue.
Was all of this worth the views and attention? But he's still in complete denial.
We're going to see what we could have did differently here.
How about you don't trespass? It's not rocket science. Well, let's see the case he makes for himself.
What's up? He's going into the warehouse. Now this is wild. I'm just a cameraman right here. Let me pause it right there. I'm just a cameraman. Y'all hear what I just said?
I am just a cameraman. So the guy who's filming, or the guy who's the subject of the film, because he's doing it, you have to follow him, even though you're just the cameraman.
I would have trolled him and ran backwards.
Well, he admitted that he's the cameraman, so he is an accomplice.
Right. Cool, goodbye. That deserves another burn for that. I mean, it's like, dude, they gonna use this in court and say, hey, he just admitted on camera that he's the cameraman. He was the guy that was filming all of this, so he should be prosecuted too. Oh my goodness! Like, come on, see. Let me ask you, good sir.
Yes, sir.
What would you do in a situation like this, where you're just out and about, in whatever country you could think of, and you see two buffoons that are clearly breaking the law? What would be your point of action?
I'm calling the police as soon as possible because you don't know how it will escalate with those two gentlemen.
Right.
So we'll slyly call the police.
Right. Not only that, but you also don't want to be guilty by association. And that's what this cameraman doesn't get. It's like, dude, the mere fact that you are there with this guy, whether you was filming him or not, you're guilty by association. Let's continue.
Right. I'm just a cameraman. I didn't do nothing wrong here. I didn't do it wrong.
Dude, even though you're the cameraman, you're still trespassing. What kind of excuse is this? You can't be an accomplice of a crime and get away without repercussions because you are filming? This just goes to show you that in Johnny's case, if you put garbage energy out in the world will surround you with garbage. It really doesn't seem like his friends are his friends. Because imagine facing like multiple years of a prison work camp and your friends are laughing at you. That's very telling of the people he surrounded himself with.
You just admitted that Johnny is guilty. Johnny's already indicted. I don't think you know already. But if Johnny wasn't indicted, he would already be out of jail right now. So there's a 90% chance that Johnny got indicted for that. And that means he'll be in jail for at least another 2 months. That's not funny. Oh, and
but he laughed.
It's not funny, but you're laughing.
Damn, man. That's not a real friend right there.
But you know what?
Friends?
This is who they want to. This is who other black men want to be around. They can't function in other cultures. They won't go out of their way to learn the culture so they can hang out with the men of the cultures. So what do? They go and bring nibbers like this. just so they don't feel out of place. But yet these same nibbers will turn around and make comments like this, it ain't funny, but then proceed to laugh.
So much for friendship.
Yes, indeed. So much for friendship.
Y'all gonna start calling me a rat. Y'all gonna start calling me a rat. All right, bro.
Oh boy, well, F in chat for Johnny. I mean, he made his own bed, and it seems like he's going to be in there for some time.
The first day I got out of jail, I thought Johnny was going to be getting out of jail as well. Believe it or not, I thought Johnny was going to be getting out of jail with me, but that wasn't the case. I got first, you know what I'm saying? First day out, I got out of jail, and then Johnny, I asked the investigator.
I will say this. I'm pretty sure now that this guy, whoever he is, has been to jail, he just earned some brownie points with Keisha.
Yeah, probably so. If he's back in the States, that is.
He can flex on you and be like, I've been to a foreign jail, a foreign prison. What y'all got on that?
I'm saying.
Whew, man. It seems like the more we're watching this, the worse it gets. But we have to talk about this. We have to. Because this needs to be shown that A, this is not SYSPM. 2, this is not how competent black men act and behave overseas. And then 3, there needs to be separation amongst black people. Either that or freely give up your black card and, you know, disavow it everywhere you go. I'm pretty much at that point. But here we go.
I'm like, yo, can you tell me if Johnny's going to be getting out today as well? And they're like, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be doing some time.
And Johnny's friend is clearly not happy with Johnny either.
Chat, y'all don't understand. Because of Johnny, I had to do an extra 23 days in jail. That's a lot of time, bro. But yeah, after they told me Johnny was going to be still in jail, they told me to take Johnny's. Bro, can y'all believe how ridiculous the police is here? They told me to take Johnny's stuff. Like, what the? They told me to take his bags. Bro, I had 4 or 5 bags on me when I left the jail. Bro, I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with this system here. Because this is not.
Nothing's wrong with the system, sir. It's something wrong with you. That's what you don't get. The system works just fine. And in fact, it's one of the reasons Japan has one of the lowest crime rates throughout the world.
Okay, bro, they told me to that's what I'm saying. It's over for this. If they told me to take his clothes, this is never getting out of jail, bro. They're making an example out of this chat. This is never getting out, bro. They told me to take this clothes, bro. He's never getting out of jail.
I would assume that means he's not getting out anytime soon. I've never heard of that before where someone else actually takes your stuff. I thought you picked that up when you got out of jail. If you are Japanese, let me know in the comments if that's a common practice there. Do I sympathize with them though? No, I don't. This style of content should not be accepted. And it seems like Japan's now going to throw the book at him.
Are you still in Japan? I cannot disclose that right now. I'm sorry, chat, but it's still hot right now, chat. I cannot answer that question if I am still in Japan or not.
I don't know. It might seem like this guy's going to be a witness in the Johnny Somali trial. Who knows, though? This is all speculation.
Because, chat, you got to realize, bro, we're getting pressed by cops every single day, 3-4 times a day. It was bound to happen, bro. One of us was bound to get arrested. Johnny had it coming, bro. Chat, you cannot lie. Johnny had this coming. He was getting pressed by cops every single day, bro.
But it seems like Japan actually taught him a lesson.
God, I don't want to say this, bro. I really don't want to say this, but I want to be honest with you guys. As far as IRL goes, chat, I am making my statement today. I will no longer be streaming IRL in Japan.
He also gives some sort of reasoning here.
But If you guys knew how hard the police were on my, how many videos they had of me and Johnny, how many stories they had of me and Johnny, if y'all knew how badly they researched us, you.
I mean,
Building up the
this
case.
right. I mean,
Building
dude,
up the
you
case.
do realize even right now they're videotaping you. You doing this
Yep.
whole live stream talking about, yeah, I'm not doing IRL anymore and whatnot because they're recording you and they're figuring out and everything. Bro, they're taking evidence of you as we speak.
No doubt about it.
Like,
Mountains and mountains of evidence.
mountains of evidence. I mean, and what gets me is the fact that he still thinks somehow they still believe that they didn't do anything wrong. That's what's amazing.
Yeah, it's complete denial.
Going through all of this trouble, the police, you know, telling you, hey, here's your friend's stuff. Go ahead and get out and everything. Your friend's not leaving. And you still believe y'all didn't do anything wrong. Like,
It's massive delusion.
I said this earlier in the chat, and I'll say it again. This is why I don't care if I'm in states or out of the country. When I travel to these other places, I now make it my business. Any place that has a high concentration of blacks, I avoid. I avoid whatsoever. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to be associated with them. If there's a place, as I said before, where it's like no blacks allowed, that's fine with me. You know, if I gotta bring somebody who's, you know, from the city, from the area, who's not black, but can vouch for me, like, hey, this guy is good, you know, he's a good citizen and everything. If I have to do that in order to move around in other countries, that's not a problem. I am okay doing that. Because it is just stupid nibbles like this where you can't do anything thanks to these knuckleheads. Yeah, General. Where there's more than 3, that's where I will not be. Yeah.
He said more than 4 going to the door.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, if you are a competent black person, whether a black woman or a black man, if you're a competent black person, it is in your best interest to not be around other black people when you're out and about. That's what it's come down to.
Yeah, it's like being around grown kids, man. They just don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
Damn.
Laughing Dog. Shout out to Laughing Dog. And he will cry racism after gifting police all the evidence and testimony. Yeah. I mean, dude, you're being recorded right now as we speak. You're talking about how the police, they got all this evidence of us. They got us streaming and everything. It's like, yeah, dude, because you're streaming right now.
More than 5 is going to get live. Hey, more than 6 is gonna be some ish.
Yeah. David Curl, he said it best. Like, look, if you get a group of people around, or a group of black people around, and you throw in there drugs, alcohol, and big booty Brenda, somebody's going to die. General, over 7, someone's going to heaven. Exactly. If it's more than 7, somebody's going to heaven. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to be the one. Let's continue.
You would know it is not safe to stream in Japan anymore. It's not safe anymore, bro.
And apparently everyone stopped streaming in Japan now as well.
Bro, I mean, look at all the other IRL streamers. Is anybody else streaming in Japan? Sus is never going back to Japan. Homeless, I'm pretty sure, is probably never streaming in Japan again. Show quit. I don't know where the show went. Show He disappeared. Show never came back. I don't know what happened to him. He streamed one time with Johnny and that disappeared. Swimmer Nick got banned.
But then he was asked, when will Johnny be free?
When is Johnny going to be free? That's something you have to ask his lawyer, because I have no clue. My guess would be 2-ish to 6 months. He might be out of jail, but even then, is he going to want to stream? That's another question we got to talk about, chat.
Okay, so that's that video where he got caught and everything. But there's more. There's more development. So let's watch this next one. This is one that was streamed roughly about, well, not streamed, but this was uploaded about a day ago, a little bit over 24 hours. This is a recent update with Mr. Johnny Somali as he appeared in court. So we'll see what he's doing as of right now. Get this here. Here we go. There we go.
I'll never stream again is what the disrespectful streamer begged in a recent court hearing in Osaka, Japan. So it's safe to say we have quite the video today, and it's been quite a ride since this all started about half a year ago. Idiot streamer in the US goes to Japan to engagement farm for a stream, kicks things off by harassing people in the metro there, saying America's going to drop another A-bomb on them. He then gets absolutely embarrassed by a bystander, then gets confronted again later on that night, runs away. The police then shows up, then he gets left off with a warning, gets punched, continues his antics, then gets punched again. He then goes to the police to report that, then he gets punched again. But he just keeps on streaming in a disrespectful way. He harasses women. When they deny him, he then starts yelling insults and derogatory terms at them, because that'll help his case. He then gets stopped by the police again, then let off with yet another warning. A bunch of Japanese streamers then show up to his Airbnb to get him to stop. He doesn't really take that seriously. He continues to get punched in the street. Then finally makes an apology that was barely an apology and essentially just made more of a mockery of the Japanese culture. So then suddenly he gets scared for his life and actually flees the country. And then once he gets out of the country and he thinks he's safe, he then continues to mock Japan. Then about a month goes by and then he does the dumbest action of his life, which is return to Japan with a friend. And then they just continue the antics from basically where he left off. And this friend that he brought along is actually the friend we covered in the last video on the situation, because apparently he had a lot to say about him on his live stream where he essentially was laughing at him. I guess that just goes to show that when you're garbage to the world will just surround you with garbage. But speaking of garbage, I think we can all agree that spam calls are garbage. So how do we get rid of that garbage? Well, you need to combat data brokers, because we've all bought something on the internet before or signed up to some coupon and suddenly you're getting spam calls, emails, and physical junk mail, because data brokers, they take your information from various sites wherever to return to Japan in the future and will never video stream again. Interesting. Okay, so the U.S. nuisance streamer Ismail Ramzi Khalid, known as Johnny Somali, made his first appearance today in Osaka District Court, charged with obstructing business in Minami, Osaka, by playing music at full blast while streaming video. The defendant Khalid, upon examination by the prosecutor, stated that he apologizes to the people I bothered. I will not video live stream again. I doubt that that's true. Maybe he's done streaming in Japan. Actually, hopefully he's done streaming in Japan after all that. Maybe he'll actually learn his lesson this time. Defendant Khalid stated in regards to the situation at the restaurant, I had been streaming my lifestyle all throughout the day. When the defense attorney asked why he didn't lower the volume or stop streaming when warned by the staff, he explained, I was focused on eating so I could leave the restaurant.
Let me just repeat that, what the guy just said. When the defense attorney asks him why he didn't lower the volume or stop streaming when he was warned by the staff, he replied, quote, I was focused on eating so I could leave the restaurant, unquote. In other words, eat, sleep, fight, bus. Eat, sleep, fight, bus. Eat, sleep, fight, bus.
My question is the lawyer Japanese or Korean? His defense lawyer. I would like to know that.
That's a good question. That is a good question. Well, let's continue.
That just doesn't seem true, because we saw the footage. It doesn't seem like he was focused on eating at all there. To me, it seems like he thought he was pretty much invincible because Japan had still not really given him any repercussions from the months of harassment he did there. So he was just trying to get as much content as possible at the other people's expense. But it says the defendant also expressed words of reflection about his own actions, stating it was shameful conduct on top of expressing a desire to return to Japan again in the future. When asked if he would return to video streaming in the future, he responded, never. Khaled is indicted for forcibly interfering with the staff at the restaurant of Dotonbori Chuo Ward in Osaka, which he visited at 1:30 a.m. on September 12th. He played music at full blast while live streaming, even with other customers and staff present. At his arraignment, Khaled said, I do not deny that I live streamed. I regret my actions, but the sound came out automatically, denying the prosecution's accusations.
The sound came out automatically. And if you watch the video, because it's actually online, the altercation where he's blasting the music at this restaurant, not only does he not turn it down, but he actually argues with one of the staff members who came and told him, like, hey, could you please turn it down? He's like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
He's a glutton for punishment.
You know what, JJ? I'm starting to believe that a lot of these dudes, I won't come out and fully say it, but if you read between the lines, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. I think some of these dudes really need to have forced labor put upon them in order for them to be productive.
Damn. Is it back to the chains? Oh, man.
I mean, y'all can interpret it how you like, how you want, but I meant everything that I say. I think for a lot of these dudes, especially this buffoon who feels like he's above the law and everything, maybe forced labor should be in his schedule every day.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's continue.
I feel like that's such a BS excuse because he has a Bluetooth speaker connected to him. He can shut it off if he wants to. But at the end of the day, it's bad business for him to do so because if he starts shutting off the Bluetooth speaker, that could mean less people will be inclined to donate to him. Because the people donating to him, they want to send him the worst possible message to see how he reacts to the situation and how the people around him reacts to the situation. They want to get him in trouble. That's the whole game. But then we have another article from Yahoo News Japan that went way more into detail on what was said in court. And here it says, at the first hearing of Osaka District Court on the 19th of December, 2023, defendant Khaled stated, I do not deny that I live streamed at the shop, but the sound came out automatically. We briefly said that as well, but here he also denied the prosecution's claim that he was controlling the volume, which is BS because he has full control of the volume. He has full control of the speaker. Again, he can turn it off if he wants to. But the defense lawyer also argued there is no establishment of the crime. When very loud music was transmitted from the phone, the stream's viewers could provide voice reactions, which increased the volume. Therefore, it does not mean that the defendant was the one causing such voices. And
Wait. What kind of technology is this? And Kukamasi, this probably should let you know this is not a Japanese defense lawyer. Because what kind of technology that the stream's viewers could provide voice reactions? My bad, my beeper is going off. The stream viewers can provide voice reactions which increase the volume. What kind of technology is that?
Interesting.
So I think that might answer your question of what type of defense.
Yeah. In a nutshell.
I don't think no Japanese defense lawyer in their right mind is going to come up with that excuse. Oh man, that just makes no good sense. Free zone. For the good of human race, malnourished mimer must not be reproduced.
I'm starting to think this is a relative of Myron.
Bro. No, let's get out of there. Let's get out of there.
Yeah, we got to get out. Let's get back out.
Noises. That is such an interesting argument because he's the one there giving all of these people the platform to play music through him. Huh. Because again, at the end of the day, he can shut off that Bluetooth speaker whenever he wants to, but financially, he's not inclined to do so. During the examination, the video of the defendant was said to have broadcast was played. From the public gallery seats, it didn't sound very loud, but we were wearing interpretation headsets and were at a distance which reduced the volume. Defense attorney, would you like to return to Japan? Khalid. Yes. During defendant questioning, defendant Khalid expressed the wish that after judgment has been rendered and I have returned to America, I would like to come back to Japan. Defense attorney, in general, what do you think was bad about your own actions? Khalid replied, I believe I just had no regard for societal rules. Also, my own selfish actions for those things. I want to apologize. Would you like to return to Japan? Yes. Would you do the same things again? Never. But the prosecutor hounded the point that Khalid should have seized the broadcast immediately and turned down the volume from the beginning. If your purpose is going into the shop was to get a meal, then you should have stopped streaming to begin with, correct?
This is some common sense stuff, man.
Very common sense.
I think he's in Japan, right?
Yeah.
All the electronics, Bluetooth headphones they have over there in abundance, he couldn't just buy them. It's just, silently, they do YouTube videos and they tape the situation quietly, pre-taped. He could have did that. I don't understand this.
I mean, you're at a restaurant at 1 o'clock in the morning. If you are starving that badly, surely, again, like the prosecutor said, you should have just immediately stopped streaming and just focus on getting something to eat. Then when you out on the street, you can go back to streaming. But even then, it's just like this dude, he don't get it. Like JJ, you just pointed out, earlier. Most likely this dude's a Gen Z and he feels like in and everything he's doing, he's got to record it.
Yeah, and he likes the validation of it all too. He feels like he's an influencer. He's making a difference amongst his fan base, so he has to keep doing it in order to get more famous. Number one, more recognition, no matter what, no matter the consequence. Like that's his whole mission right now out there in Japan. And the fact that they have yet to severely punish him for these things, he's just gonna keep doing it, so he doesn't feel wrong. That's why he's in complete denial or delusion.
You know what? If I'm Japan and they can quote me on saying this, I don't care, but it needs to be said. If I'm Japan, as soon as this dude finished serving his time in jail and he's extradited back to America, I would be pleading to the U.S. Embassy, revoke this man's passport from ever coming to Japan. I would vouch for that. No problem whatsoever. Because if this dude, like you just pointed out, JJ, if this dude feels like, so to speak, this punishment is not that harsh. I'm only going to be in jail for some months or so, maybe a year, but I'll be back out. And I want to come back to Japan. I wouldn't take that chance. If I'm the Japanese embassy, I will be contacting the U.S. Embassy like, hey, we're going to extradite him back to America. And once he's back on your soil, please revoke him from ever coming back to Japan.
Yeah, you have to do him like Travis King at this point. I doubt he's ever going to serve the United States military ever again. So you got to give him the Travis King treatment at this rate because he's not going to get it.
Right. Let him travel to other countries that's willing to let him come and everything. But as far as Japan, I think there's something called the International Red List. Just put him on the International Red List like, hey, he is not allowed to touch a foot in Japan ever again. And you know what? I have no problem whatsoever. You did the crime, you got to do the time.
Bingo.
Let's continue.
At this point, yes, I think it would have been better to stop streaming. And you say the music and loud volume depended on the reaction of your audience. That's correct. Was it not also possible to lower the volume or stop it from the beginning? Yes. Okay. After the shop staff warned you, you did not leave. Correct. I left about 1 minute after. You still continued streaming as you left the stop. I'm assuming that's supposed to be the shop. Yes, because I had already left the shop. So here it says the prosecution recommends about a 200,000 yen fine. And here Johnny says, I swear I will not stream. The prosecution closed by saying there is no room for leniency for dealing with someone so self-centered that their only motive is to entertain an audience for their own need for approval. Nowadays, disruptive live streamers garner a lot of interest and is becoming a significant concern to society. Punishment needs to be both suitable as a deterrent for others, recommending a 200,000 yen.
So, just to give y'all a little clue, this prosecutor says nowadays disruptive live streamers garner a lot of interest and is becoming a significant concern to society. And you're going to see another video where the Japanese government actually did something about it. So let's see the rest of this, and then we'll continue.
Fine, which is something between $1,400 and $2,000. Correction, that is about $1,400. So honestly, that is a very small punishment, but you also have to consider how much time he's actually been behind bars in not the best conditions. But in his final statement, defendant Khaled said, I regret that it ended up like this, and I would like to apologize. Whatever happens in the future, I promise I will not be streaming or making video. I feel like that's just for Japan, because I don't think Johnny's the type to just stop streaming altogether after this. Like, now he has a lot more eyes on him, so he's probably going to want to capitalize on that. And that concluded the first hearing of the trial. The decision will be announced the 10th of January.
Okay, so that's that. That's the trial. But now let's hear some new developments, and this will be the last part of tonight's stream. Let's hear some new developments of what the Japanese government is actually going to do about these IRL streamers. And it is pretty interesting. And so we'll just end it on this note. Here we go.
There was a news report where the Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno speaks about streamers in Japan. He says that they should refrain from invading privacy and causing trouble. Matsuno then criticized the so-called nuisance YouTubers who film and distribute their nuisance activities on the internet, saying they should refrain from invading privacy and causing trouble. Matsuno then goes on to say, of course, we must ensure the freedom of YouTube users, but we must also refrain from infringing on the privacy of others and causing trouble. He emphasized that the police would also have to follow this same policy. Streamers such as Ice Poseidon and Sam Pepper then go on to talk about this and the fact that there may be new policies put in place in Japan to reduce harassment from in real life streaming in Japan and protecting the privacy of the public.
Japan is actually making a law to ban IRL streaming. Read it to me. Because of Johnny Somali. The Chief of Cabinet announced a new policy which may into law on restrictions on IRL streaming. Following streamer Johnny Somali arrest in Japan, imagine being such a nuisance, you force a country to create new laws. So they're making a law to, they're making new privacy laws so you can't stream in public in Japan. Because of Johnny Somali, which I think he's in jail in Japan right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of crazy. Like, that sucks because Japan streaming there is like super sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, rip Japan, I guess. If that law goes through, fucking rip streaming in Japan.
Imagine all them IRL streamers that live there.
Yeah, dude. Like, Hugh Sama, he's fucking RIP to Hugh, bro. Dude's gonna be homeless.
And that answers my question earlier.
Yep. So as we speak, Japan is coming up with new policies, aka laws, that will make it very tough to stream IRL in Japan. They're most likely, because Japan is democratic, they're not going to outright ban it, but they're definitely going to make it super hard to do. And we can all thank a black man from America to put this law into use. So.
Dang it, Johnny.
Yeah, and shout out to Free Zone. I've heard of this guy, Johnny Somali. I was kind of keeping somewhat tabs on him. But as soon as Free Zone sent me the video that he got arrested and all, and all of a sudden I was hearing stories like, the Japanese government is looking at creating a law to restrict the PGC travels. I'm sorry, the rest of the world still sees him as a black man just by his antics. Whether it's Somalia or not, that's what they see him as. So because of this dude's actions, this just goes right in line with Mad Bus Driver's video that, you know what, dudes, y'all have nobody to blame but yourself. Y'all have nobody to blame but yourself. And for the guys who are competent like us, I mean, hey, that means there's going to be extra eyes watching you wherever you go. But hey, as long as you abide by the laws and abide by the rules, you will set yourself apart from these knuckleheads. Because at this point in time, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jim Crow is going overseas.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, little by little. They're making laws, making it less fun for you foreigners to muck things up and turn it into a personal playground. And like I said, you can do your pirating, plundering, taking, but not giving back. They're trying to put the clamps on that, man. They're tired of the foolishness. Sick of it. Sick of it.
Man. So that's my whole take. So I know tomorrow night, me and Shinobi Bro, we're actually gonna do a Black Ronin stream, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit more. But I just wanted to get this off my chest to kind of talk about the recent news. You know, people talking about, this with Johnny Majors, but not Johnny Majors, Jonathan Majors. Him, found guilty in court for assaulting his ex-girlfriend who happens to be white. Now this with Johnny Somali being arrested and about to go to jail in Japan, and now Japan's going to create some new laws that's going to restrict people from streaming in the country. Again, they have nobody to blame but themselves. Same with Jonathan Majors, same with Johnny Somali. These guys have nobody to blame but themselves. If you can't be cultured, but at the same time want to be black, it doesn't work. You can't serve two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other.
Yep, nobody likes a fence hopper.
Not at all. So with that, final thoughts. We'll start with you, JJ.
Yeah, man. First off, you don't have to worry about me live streaming when I go overseas, because I'm basically going to keep it very discreet. I'm not going to step on anybody's toes. I'm pretty much going to obey the laws of said nation and enjoy myself mainly, but I'm not going to bring any kind of attention to myself and trying to further soil the image of Black American men worldwide, because we get enough trouble and accusations as is, as you saw, like you talked about earlier, Jonathan Majors. So we get on all sides, whether in the United States or elsewhere. Okay, so we definitely got to be smart and play it safe whatever we do, no matter what. And thank you for inviting me on the stream and analyzing the idiocy of Giant Somali, aka Malnourished Myron.
Shout out to Free Zone. We're gonna have to steal that one.
Yeah.
I have no final thoughts, man. This is a great stream. Happy holidays to everybody in the chat. JJ Star One, and of course you, Sigma Jones, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you both. Y'all made this a great stream. Looking forward to hopefully do some more like this next year. But yeah, if anything, like JJ said, abide by the laws, be ingratiated in the culture. You won't have to go through all the troubles that the men you see tonight having to go through. It's easily avoidable as long as you don't act black. I know that's hard to believe, but it can be attained. So with that, just want to thank everybody. Catch you next year or maybe tomorrow night with Shinobi Roll. Until next time, happy holidays and happy New Year.